Okay, with what we've learnt to date. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're just going to take a couple of indicator muscles, pull your knee to your shoulder, and we'll just use that one, knee to the shoulder. Excellent. Okay, so what we'll do, that's it, get a good bit there, is we'll do the emotional stress points. So that's perfect. So about halfway between the frontal eminence and the eyebrow, that's the best point we find there. So remember that if that weakens in the clear, then you've got to obviously deal with the emotional sort of side there. Okay, now we'll do the yin and the yang meridians.
Okay.
So we'll see where Lorraine's coming from.
We'll start with the yang.
Yeah, I usually start with the yang. And they're hollow tubes, remember. You mentioned about the hollow tubes, didn't you?
I did.
Hollow tubes are the area where the pathogens like to hide, you know, gut, sinuses, you know, all these places where people have constant problems in. Lungs, urinary tract tubes. Is that it? No? Okay. So all the yang ones are okay. So now we do the yins, which are traditionally in Chinese medicine are the solid organs. Heart, I knew it wasn't going to be the heart. Governor vessel. Liver. Lung.
Spleen.
Ooh, kidney.
Kidney or circulation sacs.
Give me circulation sex.
Oh, I was going to do it. You do that one first.
You do this one first. Kidney.
Yeah.
I think it's the kidney.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Now do circulation sex just to prove. Yeah, okay. So let's pop the kidney on now. Okay, so she weakens to the kidney. Everybody okay so far? All right. Now we take the TLs off, and then we just put that up there. So we're talking about the kidney. So this is the emotion. This is, if you like, where she's coming from. So let's see where you are actually coming from. So right, right, right. Left, left, left. Okay, so she's coming from the right brain because she weakens to the left, all right? So let's say the percentage that you use your right brain activity, bringing it up to threshold, is 100%, and the percentage that you use your left brain, okay, is, let's say, 80% or higher, 70% or higher, 60% or higher. So most of it's coming from the right brain. So, okay, so we put that back on now. Okay, so now we know that its left brain is the unconscious. Her right brain is conscious, how she sees the world. The left brain is the unconscious part, which she's not aware of, okay, and so that's where the turmoil is actually coming from. So we put the marker on just to keep her in left brain. If we want to prove this, we just take her into the left brain. You don't need to do this, but look just to the left there, so she'll remain in weakness, and then we'll put the kidney on, and you see she strengthens, okay? So we know now that that is synonymous, if you like, with the left brain. Now let's find out where she's actually coming from. So we can actually go round the beginning and ending points. When you do that, you do tend to find there's two. When you do it with the acetates, you only find one. So for speed, it's going to be quicker to just run through the acetates. So stomach, and that's large intestine. Conception vessel. Triple warmer. Bladder. Small int. Oh, give me one at a time. Okay, so heart, no, spleen. Liver, okay. So liver. So what does that mean, muscle-wise, is going to be, pop that one down, is going to be pectoralis major sternal. Keep that nice and straight and push down towards the left hip. Okay. And push down towards the right hip. So it's the left PMS. We'll just do the rhomboids just to keep the hand out flat now. Wait, let me get it. Okay, and pull in. We'll just do the rhomboids as well. Hand nice and flat. Okay, pull in. Okay, so what we've got is the left PMS, push down, which is our muscle. Okay, so that's our priority muscle with them. So if we go back into weakness there, okay. So what we do is we can go in two directions, if you like. We can do the eye positions, or I would at this stage do the TH17, just to see whether there is an autoimmune problem there or not. TH17, yes. Go for the, so we take it off because we're doing TH17 from strength to weakness. So we have got an autoimmune problem. Okay, so that's, so we know where we're going now anyway, we know there's an autoimmune problem. So we do the TH1, TH2. Yep. So it used to be a lot about TH1 being up or TH1 being down and so on. And then I think Sam more or less said that they never really find it, do they? It's always a low TH1 and a high TH2. Yeah. They very rarely ever find a high TH1. So TH1, let's see if she strengthens to TH1. Yep. And so does she weaken to TH2? So this is the classic sort of findings really with it, isn't it? High TH2, low TH1, high TH17. So we just put those away a minute, because what we want to do obviously is find out what it is that is the cause of this, isn't it? So we'll come back to that in a minute. So what we're going to do is go to the lever. Okay, now we're going to take us through the different eye positions. So just follow my finger to the left and up. So let's do the nutrition first. So she strengthens to nutrition. So if we get our stuff ready there, so let's say on a scale of 1 to 100, the percentage of essential nutrients that you get from your diet, okay, to attain perfect health in everywhere else, is 100%. So she's not starving. Okay, that's good news, isn't it? The percentage of those long-chain molecules you digest or chop up long molecules into small ones to absorb is 100%, and your absorption's 100%. Okay, so why does she need something nutritional if she's not deficient? Okay, that's the thing. So let's see what it is. So let's, because it's definitely, there's a nutrient in there somewhere. So let's go through the composites. So start at the top with, say, amino acids, because it could be anything really. So she needs a little extra of something than what her body...
Minerals?
What? Minerals, yeah, let's do minerals, mineral compounds.
Vitamins?
That's water-soluble vitamins when we say vitamins. That's going to be B's and C's. Fat solubles. So she's showing positive to fat-soluble vitamins. Now, get the fat-soluble vitamins, and what we're going to do is she's showing to fat-soluble vitamins. So what we're going to do is we're going to give me the pure retinol. I want to see whether she actually has a fat-soluble vitamin deficiency. So retinol is the basic substance, as we'll see tomorrow, of vitamin A. And then cholecalciferol is vitamin D. And then vitamin E, probably one of the E's, the E capsule. No, not the smart one. That's got other things in it. There should be a vitamin E. Oh. So okay, so let's do that one. So vitamin E now, and vitamin K2. Now K2 is not K1. K1 is what you get in chlorophyll, basically. It's part of the same family as chlorophyll, and we get it from green vegetables and things. But when you eat those, and there's certain bacteria in the gut, what they do is they stretch the menaquinone molecule, and then that becomes K2. Now, K is an interesting compound because they've found now 30 or more proteins which are regulated by K, vitamin K, whether it's K1 or K2. And what they do is they knock out the protein or the gene that makes the protein. And what they found is, this is the work of Bruce Ames, is that the body gives priority to the clotting mechanism. So what it will do, if you're deficient in K, it'll take all the necessary K to stop you from bleeding. Okay? So that's the priority of the body. This is called triage. Okay? If you cut yourself, that's more important than anything else that K might do with bone density and so on. Okay? So we would call it the body robbing Peter to pay Paul. Okay? When they cut it out progressively of each protein on there, what happened is, first of all, the people got, or the animals got osteoporosis, so they knew osteocalcium was very much involved with that. But interestingly then, they got hardening of the arteries, so they ended up with intermittent claudication and angina. And lastly, they all got cancer. So in other words, as you cut off the proteins, the genes that made the proteins, the diseases increased and got worse and worse. So the idea is, or what he postulates, his triage theory, is that you may not get the problem for many years after you become deficient, but because the body's robbing Peter to pay Paul, and then you end up with problems years later. And this often happens with anorexia, doesn't it? Girls who get anorexia often die 10 years later because their heart just gives way, it's got no power. So K2 is a very important nutrient. You get it, of course, as I say, from K1, but it works slightly differently in the proteins that it works for in the body. So could we have some K2? K2 is fat soluble. So it should always be taken, of course, in an oil, because otherwise, if it's fat soluble and you swallow it with a glass of water, you might as well throw it over your shoulder. It's quicker. So K2 is very important because it stops calcification. And so many problems are related to calcification. One of those is elastin. So you lose the elasticity in tissues if you get calcified deposit in elastin. So it ages, and when you do, you just don't get the twang, you know, on the skin and things. So K2 is an important commodity in keeping young and beautiful.
Oh, hold that.
You hold that, that's it. Do you want to drop it in? Put 5. There is no upper limit in K, so it's perfectly all right to have as much as you want. So another 5. Sometimes it works well with D, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you just need the one on its own. 20, give her 25, give her 30. Good. Okay, so now we're up to 30. So now what we'll do is we'll do the K2. Okay, I'm going to put the K2 on her, the marker, and we'll take that off. Okay, so you should be nice and strong. Okay, so the next thing is now, is there anything else that she needs in relationship to her liver? Remember, fat-soluble vitamin, is it the liver? Yeah. Fat-soluble vitamins always work and store in the liver itself, so that's where the defect is, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to take it on and off, Not doing this very well, okay. So she's nice and strong. So probably, therefore, this department is closed. Let's now just take everything off and leave the K on her there, and let's just check that everything is all right. Pop that one down, push down across there. Good. Okay, so that's all right. So now we know that the liver is finished with, as far as that. So the question is now, what do we do? Have we solved all her problems? Is K the only thing she does, that she needs? I don't know, let's ask her, ask the brain. So we go back now to here. So this is the second bit, okay? This is the important bit when you've done the first bit. go back to her kidney meridian, wasn't it? And ask her, is there anything else? And the answer is yes. So she's showing now there's something else underneath. And whatever it is underneath will be the cause of the problem, why she needs the K2. Okay? So now what we're going to do is just swap it around again. Okay, give me the acetates and we'll go through and find out what the next meridian is.
Yeah.
Now, you know nothing about Lorraine, symptom-wise. And why did I why did I hesitate at that one? Because I knew that was going to be the one. Okay, it's the large intestine. So what does the large intestine tell you? Could be parasites, could be all sorts of things in there. But what did I say about K2? Who stretches it? Who stretches the K1? Bacteria in the gut. Okay, so this is where we come to the next stage. Is we've got a problem. Probably we've been able to create the K2 because she's missing something in the gut, the bacteria in the gut. Okay, so back to the drawing board again now. So now we'll go up to the left and see. No. Okay, so we'll see if there's a toxin now. No. See if there's something structure. Structure is unlikely to cause that. See if there's an allergy. But round you go, round and round. There's a pathogen in there. Okay, so that brings us back to where we got ITH17. So now go to the pathogen. So let's do bacteria. So remember, high Th2, low Th1 indicates an intracellular problem. Okay, that's because that's what Th1 does, and it's low. It's intracellular pathogens. So could be bacteria. Bacteria, remember, are only a tenth of the size, if not smaller, than a human cell. So they could have invaded in there. So no. So again, these are composites. They're homeopathic, so they can work as from strength to weakness or weakness to strength. Acute virus? No, acute virus. So an acute virus, unlikely to be an acute virus, isn't it? And because an acute one would indicate you've got a high Th1 and you go in a state of, probably the innate immune system and not the adaptive. Now, give me the post-virus. So what was it Jill taught us? That the major cause of inflammation and autoimmunity is infection. Okay. Now we've got all the trimmings around that. You've got your stats and your foxies and so on, and your dysbiosis and things. So should we just try a dysbiosis on there when we got that? Because we've got a large intestine shows up. Let's see what happens. Dysbiosis is a, I called it, what did I call it? The wind gas or flatulent marker. So what it is, if you get dysbiosis, you get gas, you get bloating and things. And the bloating is always carbon dioxide and or hydrogen and or sulfur, hydrogen sulfate, which you know about if you got that. Okay, and methane, which actually is odorless. So you may have combinations of those. So we made a combination composite on it, and it works really, really well. It's a great marker. So what was the result of that? Or have we not done it yet? No, so you were okay. So that's okay on there. Okay, so let's go back. Now, what I want to do now is I want to take those off, and we want to see the muscle. So large intestine. So all of you know the large intestine is going to be tensor fascia lata, push out and up. Okay, hamstring, pull, and quadratus lumborum. Hold tight on the table and push your legs towards me. Okay, now take the other way, push your legs to the left. Okay, so let's try this one. So out and up. Out and up, come on. Okay, so that's that one, and the hamstrings. So it's the left tensor fascial arter with Lorraine, okay? So let's go back now where we were. We put the K2 on, that one, and now we're into large intestine. Okay, so we've got an infection. Okay, so we've got a post-viral. Post-viral, let's make sure we all understand, when a virus gets into the body, a virus is a string of DNA or RNA. It's a little section. It could have a lot of nucleotides to it, but it encodes for a protein. That's what it is, basically. It's a protein. It's a chemical message, right? It is not a living entity. So are you vegan, Finno? You just go to vegan restaurants, you hang out in vegan restaurants. Are you looking to try and sell some B12 or something? So vegans must not be worried about treading on viruses. You're not killing anything. There's no life in them. This is what I want to make sure. It's not like a bacteria, which is a living entity. A virus is just a string of chemical information. And it has one function, one sole purpose, and that's to penetrate in the cell and change the program, just like it does on your computer, if you get one in. So as it's moving around in the outside the cells, it's called an acute virus. So the immune system comes on to alert and says, oh, there's a foreigner there, let's go for it, boys. And that's the innate immune system that Jill talked about. So this is the normal mechanism using the neutrophils and the macrophages. And the way the cells do that, these bother boys, as I call them, do it by spraying them with free radicals or oxidative, like putting bleach onto and killing them off. If after 7 days, 6-7 days, the innate immune system hasn't managed to do it, the virus may have got inside the cells by this time, and it's undetectable then when it's inside the cytoplasm. If it goes inside then the nucleus, it changes the program, and that cell's done for, because it's always going to change the program. Okay, if it's in the cytoplasm, it's almost impossible. And this is what happens with, you see this classically with herpes, don't you, herpes simplex. It goes dormant, as such. It's just not active there. When it's active and it comes out and the blisters come out, you can work out what to do to get rid of it. But when it's not, you don't know it's even there at this stage. So what we don't know is what the virus is. So let's have a think. What you could try and assess it here, as you've got your box of viruses. What I would do first of all is the children's viruses, the common child's ailments, all right? Because these are the things that most people have, and some people never really get over them. So just fish a few out now. Tell me which ones you're doing. So. Pertussis is whooping cough. Don't worry about the location, because you sometimes get viruses in odd locations which you think, well, that's not normally where it is. Paratitis is mumps, if you're not familiar. I had a mumps the other day in somebody. A woman who had mumps or came up with mumps, right? And she said, I don't think I ever really had it. I was ill. My brother had it very badly when I was 15 or something. And she said, I don't think I had it. I had a bit of a sore throat or something, but she had it, I reckon. But it went underground, went in the cells. Rubella, German measles. Varicella, chickenpox. Morbillinum. Morbillinum is measles. No. Mononucleosis, that's kissing disease, isn't it? That's what the kids get when they go to uni. Okay, after that could be anything really, isn't it? So let's start at the top, yeah. Is that adeno? Good one, we come across one adeno today, it's very popular with respiratory problems. Adeno likes to come around the change of the seasons, so it's not quite here yet. The good news is Australia, New Zealand haven't had much of a flu problem this year. So in their winter, because we tend to mirror what they haven't had much at all. But to prevent it, they're all going to say you must have your inoculation over here. But it actually has gone back to not being probably going to be a bad year. We've had a very good summer, of course, a lot of vitamin D, so we've probably got a bit of reserve. Sorry, what was that one? Cytomegalo.
EBV.
Epstein-Barr virus. That's
Hepatitis A.
hepatitis A. Boop, boop, boop.
Hepatitis B.
B.
C.
There is a D and an E, but we don't got markers and they don't seem to be too sinister.
Herpes genitalia.
Herpes genitalia. Or simplex 2, isn't it? That's called sometimes.
Herpes simplex.
Herpes simplex.
Herpes zoster.
Herpes zoster.
HIV.
Don't do that.
Human papilloma.
Human papilloma, yeah.
Human wart.
Human warts. Warts and all.
Molluscum contagiosum.
Contagiosum.
Influenza A and B.
Influenza. Okay. Now, so what we've done is we've looked now at the infection. It's a post-virus, so it does not mean she's got the virus. She's got the result of the virus, all right? And she could even inherited this polymorphism that it creates. Okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the things off, the K2 and all the acetates, and just leave the influenza virus on there, okay? See? So her body shows it. Doesn't mean she's got influenza, all right? She's got the result of it. Let's test that TFL. Push out. Okay, let's test this. Pectoralis major sternal down to here. Okay, show me the TH17. Have I got it, or have you got it? TH2,
Yeah.
TH17. So we go back to, doing the immune system here. So TH17 in the clear, and let's do that against the influenza. Isn't it interesting? You would never have thought influenza could cause so much problem, okay? But it's changed the program with her. So if you look in now, what you'll find, if you look the code up, you'll find the polymorphism for her. So there should be one for influenza there. Sam. Sam's gone. What's the code? A into T, yeah. Okay, Sam. So Sam is in the nutrition box under amino acids. It's a. So let's try Sam here against the TH17, or you can use it against any marker really. So now we've got a couple of very important components. We've got the SAM, push out, okay. What was the other one? K2, wasn't it? K2. So now let's go back again there. Large intestine. Oh, okay. So is there anything else? We'll flap that on a couple of times. It's just, I'm just doing like a trip switch. So now, and then we'll ask your brain again for the final time. Let's go on there. Is there anything else that she needs? No. Okay. Brilliant. So K2 and SAM. Okay. SAM is a funny substance. It's very hygroscopic, so it just absorbs moisture in no time at all. So any product with it in just turns to liquid very quickly. So the best thing we find is to make it as a liquid. So it's quicker to just liquefy it. So we do it as a liquid, as drops, rather than as capsules. We've tried doing it as capsules. You end up putting so much other stuff into it to stop it from melting. You don't know in the end what it is you're testing for, because you've got so much of other compounds in it. So SAM as a liquid the main thing is a methylator. It's the main methyl donor, which we're going to talk about tomorrow, because it would appear that what will happen here is your influenza Polymorphism, all right? Remember, I'm not saying you've got influenza. You've had or you've inherited the polymorphism of it, which will affect your methylation pathway. Now, have you got any sellotape there, you guys? This is tomorrow's work now, because we finished today. So what we found is that there is a chemical in sellotape. It's the adhesive. It's not the cellophane itself. It's the adhesive. There's a chemical in there, which is not like an ordinary gum. It's a synthetic gum. So an ordinary gum sticks and it sticks. Okay, you can't take it off. But sellotape, you can unwind it, can't you? You can take it off and re-stick it and so on, a certain number of times. And there's a chemical in there which is man-made, which goes through a methylation pathway. So it's one of the finest sort of ways of testing for methylation defects, is just to get the person to inhale this smell from the sellotape. The traditional lab test for methylation is caffeine. Again, with these substances we're going to test. Do you drink coffee? No. Why? Because you don't like it. Does it do anything to you? Gives her a headache. So we'll see that tomorrow, because she's got a methylation pathway.
To apply it?
Yes, stick it on the tip of her nose.
Stick it on the end of it. You know it's not your
So you stick it on the end of the nose so she can smell and enjoy that, and then just test the muscle. Okay, it's a great test, isn't it? The sellotape technique. Okay. But that's for tomorrow. Okay, thanks, Lorraine. That's it for today.